All right, welcome back. And this is for the next video with some tips. So let's get started. Go to here. Okay, so here's our assignment, and just to double check that we know all the stuff that we need to do, it's over here. We need to have these 3 boxes. Now, when you first hit run with this, with the assignment that you're given, you got this just bar going across. So this is just a full-on div with it looks like an H1 and a paragraph text in it, and then we got these 2 other boxes that are in weird colors. So we need to kind of mess with those 3 boxes. We want the colors to match the final picture over here. So top one needs to be green, middle one yellow, and the bottom one is going to be in red. And then we have these different rules about the borders and some of the padding in the top one that has some writing. Okay, so first thing is change your name that's showing up here. You are not Josh. So actually, I have a couple Joshes. So you might be a Josh, but for the most part, most of you are not Josh. So change your name to whatever your name is, and then you are a student. So you could change that if you want as well. But what are you? And then let's change the colors first. So first thing you need to do is just get each color there. We want the middle one to be yellow and the bottom one to be red. And notice we're using a little bit different class names for this. So we have the top container is going to be this green one, middle container, and then bottom container. And so if I run this, my colors should be better. Okay, but still doesn't really look like a box. So I need to kind of add some styling to this top container. So I want it to be the same size as these ones. So I'm going to take this height and width that my other divs have. We're going to add it to that. So let's go ahead and run that and see what it looks like. Good. So now I have 3 boxes, all the exact same size. And now I just need to mess around with it over here to get it all spaced out. And this last part is important. We want all of the little corner edges to be touching. So if that was what was messing you up, go ahead and give this a go. And if not, then I'm going to go over the next tip here in a second. So if you want to try this out now, go ahead and pause your video and we'll get going. So if you're still stumped a little bit, let's take a look at it's again not necessary, but it's a little easier to see what's going on visually. This will take a little bit of adding to have us be able to space this stuff out. So first thing is, actually we didn't put our padding and our border in yet. So if I want let's go padding. Oop, the wrong spot. I want padding in here, and I want that padding to be 20 pixels large, then I'm going to go 20 pixels. Easy enough, right? So if I run this, notice it puts that little 20 pixels of space between the edge of my box and where the content actually is. So that's our definition of padding. Now we want a border as well. So the border we want to be a solid line. We want that border to be black. And we also want it to be 10 pixels wide. So this is kind of a shorthand where we can put all of these things, and it wouldn't actually matter the order that we write this stuff. But if we run that, there we go. I was gonna say. So we got our border here now. And we can do the same thing for our yellow box. Our yellow box wants to have a 20 pixel border and no padding. So if we go border, solid black line, and 20 pixels, then when I run this, right, I got a thicker border. This green box almost looks like it's bigger now. It's not actually bigger, but it's got the extra padding in there, kind of pushing this box out a little bit wider. Okay, and then the last thing, let's just put the last border on there for box 3, the bottom one. And that one wants to have 10 pixels of a border, so a little skinnier of a border. Okay, and where I was talking about the adding for this comes in because yeah, we're gonna need to add a little bit to figure out how much we need to scoot this over to add this to get it to go to the middle. Right, so visually, I think it'll make a better understanding if we can take a look at the Chrome developer tools. So if this is where I'm at right now, and let's go ahead and take a look at the Chrome developer tools. And just so we can get a better view of it, I'm actually going to move these over to the side. So let's go over to the side. Okay, now let's take a look at this green box first. So when I take a look at this div and then scroll down, right, we can see all of the different sizes for margin, border, padding, and then our content. So right now, if we're looking at just width, because I'm worried about how far I need to scoot this thing over horizontally to get this yellow box lined up corner to corner with the green box. So if I want to scoot this thing over, this box, the green box right here, has a width, a total width of all of these numbers added together. Now remember, this middle one has a height in it as well. So we're only worried about the 200 width. So it would be 10 plus 20 plus 200 plus 20 plus 10, and then there's no margin. So adding all of this stuff up together would give us 260 pixels of width. So this entire thing is 260 pixels wide. So if I want to move this yellow box over to the side, I'm going to click into the div here, and then I bet if I give this thing a margin, or that's how far it's going to be scooted over from the side, if I give this a margin of at 260, basically we're saying we want the margin for this box to be the entire width of the green box. Let's see what happens. Hey. Okay. So now you have the width of the green box and the entire width of this yellow box that we want to try to move this red one over. So go ahead and give that a go, and when you are done, right, you're going to put all that stuff in. When you're done, it should look like what's going on here in this final picture. Then you're going to hit submit, and we'll get going.